phishing and malware. Now remember, this is a global setting, right? So whatever you do inside your own internal email box is tied to however Google does things, is tied to Gmail. Now, if you have stuff that you're doing and you want to allow these things, this is where you're going to set it up. If you find something keeps on going to spam and you don't want it to go to spam, and you've seen that in some of these emails that you get, hey, if this is in your spam folder and you don't want it in your spam folder, remember to click on allow. Well, that's setting up that allow list for people. So you can actually set up a company-wide allow list and just for your company for email. All right, so if you want to allow people to receive emails from IP addresses that should not be marked as spam, then go ahead and do this. Now, the interesting part about this is if you're doing something like splitting or if you're forwarding Gmail to someplace else, they don't go here. They will go into your inbound gateway and not on an IP allow list. So make sure you're putting this stuff in the right spot. Do you want to allow pre-delivery message scanning? Of course I do. Right? I don't want suspicious content. I really don't want to see it. I don't want to have anything to deal with it. And I would rather let the computers do their job. Right? Because if it shows up in my spam email box, I can change it over later on. I'm not going to have an inbound gateway because it's all Google all the time. But it's a way to teach Google from your vantage point, from the company to Google's vantage point on how to handle spam. If it's somebody that you know and like, then you're good to go. Are we going to have any approved senders that bypass the spam folder? Probably not. And are we going to have any blocked senders? Probably later on. We're still too new to actually have any kind of list, but we can actually go back and configure these, right? If we want to go back and configure your blocked senders, we can actually go ahead and either use an existing list or create or edit a list, and then any kind of default rejection notice, right, including whatever content you want to have. Now the question is, do you want to go ahead and let them have a default rejection notice? What makes that interesting is if someone's spoofing your thing, that ends up being a big flag that your email address is being reused. So for a while there, my main email address was being used to send all sorts of interesting email that I would get all the rejection notices for. I liked that. That was interesting because we were able to go hunt that down to someplace in like, oh God, I think it was Minsk, something like that, some server in Minsk. And that's about as far as we were able to go. But that block senders, I would rather have sent to me because then I know if my email address is being spoofed or being used for some other nefarious purpose. So block senders is good, but make sure you're not blocking stuff that you need to see or want to see. And make sure that if you are blocking someone, do not send a reject mail because that just is a big clue that that's actually a viable email address. But that's essentially it. It's really basic for what you've got here, right? You're not in there digging around or having to do a bunch of stuff. It's just who do you trust? And if you trust somebody, then go ahead and set them up. If you want to do approved senders that bypass spam folder because they keep on showing up in spam, and there are some political messages that people really want that continually go into spam, well, you can go ahead and send them in here and you're good to go. Really basic on this one. So spam, phishing, and malware, again, is global and it's really basic.